마음 먹었어요, 제가.
뭘?
저 시집 갈게요, 아저씨한테. 사랑해요.
키미티비.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel 키미티비, and today my first content is actually about informal and formal speech in Korean drama. So in our culture here in Korea, we really value informal and formal speech. It's a way we portray our respect and express our manners through communication. So there are 3 situations that I would like to share with you that are an aspect of formal and informal speech. So if you really truly are a Korean drama fan, you probably have watched Goblin. I myself, as a Korean, loved watching Goblin. I think I watched it like 6 times at least. Still amazes me every time, it gets me heart fluttering. Anyways, although it is an older drama, I do know that a lot of you started getting into it again after it came out on Netflix. So I would like to use Goblin as an example through my situations as I bring out the importance of informal and formal speech. First, age is so important when it comes to informal and formal speech. Usually it's the older people who decide if you can speak comfortably with them. They usually say 말 편하게 해 or 말 놔. It literally means speak comfortably or just speak informally, it's okay. Probably because they want to be in a more comfortable level with you or because that's more comforting for them. It's a case by case, don't misunderstand. Some people like using formal speech because it's their kind of way of doing it, doesn't mean they don't like you.
날은 여전히 멋지십니다.
별로 안 멋진데? 왜 자꾸 우리 할아버지한테 반말해? 죽을래?
이놈아!
So in this scene that came out in Goblin that I just showed you in episode 1, there's a scene of little Tokwa getting mad at Kim-shin, who he met for the first time, and he's calling him out. He's confronting him for speaking informally to his grandpa, who looks evidently just older than him, when in reality Kim-shin is actually like 400 years old. But I find it really ironic how Tokwa is like the youngest there and he speaks informally the whole time. But still cute. So Dokwa is a really good example representing people in Korea who are actually more comfortable with informal speech. Don't worry, not all Koreans are going to make you talk formally to them. In Korea, we actually value respect and expressing respect and manners through communication. And the way we do that is speaking formally. To the first person you meet, you don't go like, 안녕.
Huh.
You want to make a good first impression to a person that you just met, and you want to show that there is distance. 안녕하세요. So it's really case by case with age. It depends on the age gap as well as the person who is the older one. They usually get the card to judge if you can talk to them in formal speech or informal speech. Second would be 예의, or in English, formality, manners, politeness. As a person who's lived overseas as well, this was really hard for me. This was just informal and formal speech, and the concept of it was very new to me. And even though I was Korean, because I was surrounded by American friends and went to an international school, I didn't really have much opportunities to just use my informal and formal speech practicing. So there were times I got confused. So funny story, there was a time I was talking to a Korean adult and I was still new to this, and I was saying hi and I was like, 안녕하세요. And up till then it was perfect, but then we were on our way to get food, so I didn't really know how to use it in formal speech, so I just guessed and I was like, oh, whatever, I think I got it. And I said, 안녕하세요, 밥 먹을래? I still have so much regret doing that. Obviously, my first impression was really bad, and that adult probably thought I was really stuck up and rude. The correct way of saying that is 안녕하세요, 식사하실래요? So you want to make it as formal as possible when you're talking to someone with a larger age gap. And in Korea, in order to have a great first impression, you want to be polite. You want to show that you respect the other person. I heard some questions where people were like, but what if you guys are the same age? Isn't that okay? To answer that question, actually in high school and middle school and as a kid, it's easier to talk informally when you first meet a friend because you know that you guys are in the same grade or you guys know that you guys are just young, right? But as you grow older and as you go into college and the workplace, there is so much more emphasis on formality, and it's important to show that you respect another person. So usually in college, for me, when I first went, I would bow and I'd be like, 안녕하세요, 저는 김한나입니다. And I would talk more about myself in formal speech. There are exceptions of elderly or parents or teachers or professors who are going to be talking to you informally, but that is just how the system works because they're in a position of greater power or where they are providing us education or they are providing us a home or they just lived longer or they have a larger age gap than us. They kind of have the right to, and it's normal for us to accept that. We don't find it weird or anything. But that doesn't mean that we can go to them and talk informally because it's kind of shown off as rude. We're in a position where we're learning or we're still younger than them and we still want to show that we respect them. Lastly, number 3, 권위. Social position is actually a very large aspect in informal and formal speech.
생각지도 못한 복병이 없던 걸로 하죠. 캔슬해주세요.
별 걱정을 다 하십니다. 일하지도 않았습니다.
Now, I've received some questions where people commented on the scene where they're like, but why is the secretary speaking in formal speech when he's older and they've known each other for such a long time? Yes, they are friendly, they're great, and he is older. However, social positions, workplace environments are super important when it comes to formal speech. I've never heard of a case where people in workplace environments spoke informally because it's kind of off or kind of not normal. And if it does happen, it's usually with the people of higher power or people who are just kind of stuck up. So even though the secretary is older than Tokwa, he is technically the employee of Tokwa and he works for Tokwa's family and earns money from him. And in his perspective, he's got to show that he respects him, and as he's working with him, he wants to keep it formal and professional. So he shows his respect through his mannerisms of speaking in formal speech. In the secretary's case, it's not that he feels uncomfortable with Tokwa, it's because in his workplace, he's in an environment and situation where he is earning money from Tokwa's family and he is an employee of Tokwa and he's working for Tokwa. So he wants to show him respect, show him professionalism and formality in his workplace. And it's really important to see that. So I heard comments and concerns from some of my friends and other people regarding the situation, saying, isn't it not fair, or is it forced formality, or what if someone doesn't want to talk formally, but are they forced to? And is power so important in Korea that they have to force people to talk like that? So I totally understand where you guys are coming from with your questions because I used to have those questions too. So Korea really values respect and being polite and showing manners through communication. So it's the norm. It's just how they portray it. So let's give it, for example, if there were a situation where an old man, 60 years old, he was in a workplace working for a CEO who was 27. He would want to speak formally because that's just the way they do things. And it just shows the professionalism in the situation. Whereas if they were outside and they didn't know each other and they were strangers, and if he was a 60-year-old man and he saw a 27-year-old and they said hi, it would be normal for the older man to speak informally, as there are situations where they speak formally, but it is normal. Because like I said in the first point, age shows on whether you speak informally or formally. So when are you allowed to speak informally? So informal speech can start in consent. So if you guys are the same age, it doesn't matter who gives consent. It can be any of you. But if you guys have a large age gap, usually the person of larger age gives the consent and makes the decision on when you guys can talk informally. So I hope I've answered a lot of your questions about informal and formal speech, and I hope that through this video you are able to understand why Korean dramas make a big deal out of it, and I hope you have a bigger and deeper understanding of Korean dramas through this video. I'll be covering more content about Korea through my upcoming videos, and if you guys have any questions or more curious things you'd like to know about, or just any suggestions you have for my upcoming videos, feel free to comment and like and subscribe.
ring, ring, ring.